Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by K21 Academy. The following clip is taken from one of our live webinars under which the expert discusses about Red Hat Certified Specialist in OpenShift Administration exam, that is 𝐸X280. So let's get into the video.
These are some of the commands that you have to keep note of it. Okay, in exam, right, the bash completion is not available. Okay, so you can run this source OC completion. If you run this command, right, what happens is your tab key for OpenShift will work. Okay, so OC get, if you say PO and tab, it will fill up the pods. OC get more. So likewise, if you want the auto completion to be enabled, you run this command. So again, this is not mandatory thing, but if you run this command, it will be easy for you to use a tab key. No need to remember and no need to type everything, which might be a time consuming. Okay, and OC set _h, OC set volumes and resources. You can use the -h option for the help. Okay, and again, don't do any troubleshooting and don't explore these help options in the exam because you will not have the time. That's important. So all these things you practice in your practice sessions. Okay, exams, as soon as you log in, start solving your question papers. Don't try to troubleshoot and do all those things, unless if you land up in an issue, right, then of course you have to troubleshoot it. But other than that, I would recommend you to straight away start solving your questions. Don't do troubleshooting of those questions. Okay, and again, if you're running any administrative commands, right, you have to use OCADM. Okay, OCADM create, OCADM policy, all those things. Okay, again, for these commands you can refer to the lab guides. We have already copied all the commands there. You can practice there. And for creating, you can use OC create quota, OC create secrets, and OC describe cluster role. Okay, basically you have to remember OC create, describe, ADM set, and all those things. Okay, so once you practice our lab guides, right, then you will be familiar with this OC commands. Okay, so you have to make note of these commands and you have to remember these commands because you will be frequently using these commands in the exam. Okay, that's one a tip that you have to follow before appearing to the exam. Okay, and okay, and again, as I said, right, this exam is a performance based exam. There are no multiple choice questions. So you will be given an environment, OpenShift environment. You have to log into the environment and they will give you a set of questions. You need to solve those questions, and based on your what you call capabilities, solving capabilities, right, they will grade your marks. Okay, and for the exam, right, it is recommended for you guys to log in before 15 minutes, because the online proctor, right, he will validate your what you call your identity proof, and try to take any two local proofs, wherever you are working, whether it is US, India, or wherever you are working, right. You can take the two local proof. Maybe you can take your passports and maybe a local identity card. If it is India, Aadhaar card, or if it is um, if it is US, it is any national ID card, or all those things. Okay, but take two government ID cards, not your credit cards or your other cards. Only government approved, and those cards should have your photos. Okay, that's important. The card should have photo, and the name on the card, right, that should match with the Red Hat login name. That's also important. So if you register your exam with Arun, right, your card, on the card you should have Arun name. Okay, that's important. Okay, so your name on the card and the Red Hat login username should match. Okay, that's important. And exam is 3 hours exam. And again, if you are writing the exam from your homes, definitely you should have an high speed internet connection. But if it is from India or from remote areas, right, it is recommended not to write in your homes. um, so you have prometric centers. You can go to any one of the prometric centers and you can write the exam. So especially the prometric centers will have the alternate internet lease lines, power backup, and all those stuff, right? So you will not have any disruption. Okay, it is highly recommended to go there. If not, you can also do remote exams, but make sure your internet connection is good, and you don't have any, you have a proper a room where you can sit and solve your exams without any disturbance. That is a very important in the exam. Okay, these are some of the things that you need to follow. And then the next thing for the hardware requirement, right? You need to have two web cameras. Okay, not like one web camera. So if you are using your laptop, right, the inbuilt camera is one camera, and you need to have one more camera with a with a 1 meter cable. Okay, USB cable or whatever cable it is, because the proctor will ask you to show the entire room, the four walls of the room, using that camera. Okay, so that's also important. So you need to have two cameras. Okay, and then the passing score is 210 marks out of 300. The exam is for 300. You have to score minimum of 210 marks out of 300. Okay, that's one thing. Throughout this 3 hours exam, right, you can request for one break for your toilet or whatever it is, whatever your break it is. So maximum you can request one break, which should not be more than 10 minutes. And this 10 minutes also, the exam timer will not stop. The timer will continue. Okay, so this 10 minutes break is included in that 3 hours of time. So, and again, the first break, right? You cannot take first break within 1 hour. So you can take break only after first 1 hour. That's also you have to remember that. Okay, and the exam results, typically they will say that they will send the results by 3 working days, but usually the result will be out by 1 2 hours usually. But as a caution, they say like 3 working days, but within 2 to 3 hours you will get. Within 1 hour you will get, but you can take 1 2 hours extra. So maximum within 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, you will get the results. Okay, um, and again, once you have registered the exam, right, you can schedule the exam as many times as you want. Okay, and that too, you can change your exam only before 24 hours of your exam time. Let's say if your exam is tomorrow at 10 a.m., right, you can do the changes, or reschedule your exam only before today 10 a.m. That's it. After today's 10 a.m., right, you will not be able to change anything. But remember, you can schedule the exam as many times as you want, but it should be done before 24 hours of your exact time. That's very important. Okay, and in the exam you will be given 6 VMs, one load balancer, one registry, one workbench, and 3 master nodes. Of course, you need to have multiple master nodes, right? Because your exam will not have internet, right? So you will have an internal registry. Okay, you will have a jump host, your bastion host, your master nodes, and one load balancer. So all these things are available for you to access. Okay, and in the exam you will not be asked to install any cluster. So cluster is already configured and all required packages are installed. You don't have to create a cluster, install package, nothing. Okay, so when you practice also, don't practice the cluster installation, because that is not there in the exam. Okay, so you have to configure or solve the issues on a running cluster. So no need to bother about installing the cluster. Okay, in case you need any package, right, you can just install using yum command, or what yum command, because the repositories are already configured. You can just run yum install, and the package will be installed. Okay, so that's the some more instruction that you have to keep in mind. And again, in the exam, the OpenShift documentation is available in the HTML format. And again, as I told you, right, the documentation is huge. And to find your issue, right, to find your error, right, you cannot, it's very difficult to get the help from the documents as well. So very difficult. So though you have docs, personally I don't feel like leveraging on this document, because it's very hard to find the uh, answers from this document. So better practice the exam dumps and the lab guides. Then definitely you don't need any help from this documentation. So try to avoid this documents as much as you can, because Searching itself will take one time. It's not one PDF or one document. It has multiple HTML files, which might take a lot of time for you to search and load. Okay, okay. Again, yeah, they will give you the console, like console URL, console username, console passwords. They will give you the, they will store the kubeadmin password in one of the file inside the slash root. You can copy, take the password from here. You can either solve your question paper from your graphics console, or you can log in using, solve your question paper using your CLI as well. Anything is possible. So whether you solve it in console or CLI, it doesn't matter. Your final outcome should work. That's it. Okay. So there is no thumb rule that you have to do only in CLI or console. No need. Okay. Whatever is comfortable, you can use either console or CLI. Okay. And they will also give you the common passwords, like, they will ask you some questions to create a users and all those stuff. Those they will give you a common password, and you have to make sure you have to use those passwords. Don't use any custom password, because the validation scripts, right, what they run, right, they run uh, with the preset, they run using some scripts. Okay, in scripts they have hard coded this, the passwords. So if you give a wrong password, right, your script might not log in, and it cannot validate your cluster, and your exam is gone. Okay, so make sure you copy paste the same passwords. Whatever they are asking, you use the same password. If you give a different password, the validation scripts, right, will not be able to log into the clusters. That's very, very important. Even though you solve all the questions, and if you give a wrong password, right, you will not be able to clear the exam. That's one point that you have to remember as well, right? Yeah. And that's some of the rules that you need to consider before writing the exam. And for this OpenShift exam, right, you will be writing this EX280 exam. Again, there is one exam called EX180, and again that 180 basically is for what you call you know what do you call, that is for the that's a basic exam, so you don't have to write that unless if you have any specific requirement from the company. But 280 is the preferred compared to 180, because 180 is more for podman and all those stuff. 280, it's now currently it has value in the market, so you can go with the 280 exam. And to register the exam, right, you can do it by yourself. Okay, so you can log into this portal, training-lms.redhat.com. So you can, if you log into this one, right, you can either log in. If you have your Red Hat credentials, you can log in. If not, you can create your own credentials, create an account, and then you can start using that account. Okay, so if you have account, you can use that account and log into the console. Okay, so once you log into this portal, right, training-lms.redhat.com, right, so here you can click on the catalog, then you can click on the browse. Okay, and then you can click on the right side, on the left side you can click on the individual exam and search for EX280 version 4.6. So currently OpenShift exam is on 4.6. Okay, but in your training we have used 4.10, but there is no much difference between, I mean, as far as exam is concerned, there is no difference whether you learn it on 4.6 or 4.10. Okay, so nothing much difference as far as exam is concerned. Technically there are difference, but for exam there is no difference. Okay, so you can practice on any cluster. You don't have to practice only on 4.6. You can practice on 4.10 also. Okay, and again the price is almost like 16,500 GST, which is in the IST pricing. Okay, so then you can add to the cart, and then once the course is added to the cart, right, you can just click on checkout. Okay, and then you will see the the cart in your item and all those things. And after that, at the bottom you can click the add billing. Okay, so you have to give the billing address, from wherever you are requesting this, right, whether from India or outside India, right, you can mention the billing address there. Okay, and then give the personal details and like address details and all those things, and click on save. Okay, so then submit your personal details, and then you give your payment method, including your PAN number and all those stuff, and then click on next. And then once the payment is done, right? Once you mention all these things, right? The next step is it will ask you whether you want to write the exam or you want to assign others. Okay, so click on assign self so that this voucher will be assigned to your account. Okay, assign self, and then click on complete order. So this is important. You have to assign this exam to yourself, and then click on complete. Okay, and then you give your you know credit card details and all those stuff, and then to your email address, right? You will receive the PO and the the confirmation and all those stuff in your emails, and from there you can book your exam slot as well. Okay, now, and in the email he will give you a link. If you click on that link, you can schedule the exam. Okay, it will route to the scheduler link, and there a calendar will open, and you can select whatever date and time you want, and the time is 24 hours time, so you can select any time based on you, irrespective of from wherever region you are working, and then select the time and the date, and then click on submit. Your exam will be scheduled. Okay, now to prepare for this exam, right? You, as I told you, right, the exams, there are different ways to write this exam. Okay, either you can write it from home, we call it as remote exams, or you can go to a prometric center in your location. Again, when you are selecting your once, see, after this you will get an email to your email address, right? When you click on the link, you can schedule your exam. Okay, on the same page, they will ask you they will, if you select the prometric exam, right, it will ask you to select the nearby prometric center. So it will show you, let's say if you're working from India, right, let's say from Chennai or from wherever you're working, right, it will show you the nearby, what you call, exam centers. Okay, so you can click whatever exam center which is near to you. If it is US or whatever, from wherever you're trying, right, it will show you the nearby exam centers. You can pick whatever exam center you want. Okay, and then it will show you the available slots of that exam center. If the slot is available, uh, select the slot and submit it, and on that day go to the exam center, the location, and then he will give you a dedicated machine, and that machine has everything, your cameras, everything. You don't have to do anything. Just go, power on the laptop, log in into the laptop using the your Red Hat credentials. Remember, whatever Red Hat credentials you have used to book this exam, right, you have to remember the username password. Don't forget that. Okay, so go there, log into the laptop using your same credentials, same Red Hat credentials, and then you click on the start exam, and from there your exam will start. So that's how the process will work if it is a prometric exam, because in prometric everything is configured. Okay, you don't have to bother anything. Okay, now the second thing is, what if you want to write your exams from home? Okay, and we call that as a remote exam. So in the remote exam, you will be writing the exam from your home using your laptop. Okay, that's the meaning of, that's the difference between a remote exam and a prometric exam. Okay, now in the remote exam, right, again, don't use your office laptops. Okay, use your personal laptops, because you need to give some permissions and all those stuff, and you have to boot your laptop using that ISO. So don't use any corporate laptops. So use your personal laptops. Okay, now, so what, and it can be a Mac or it can be a Windows laptop also. It should not be any problem. Okay, so before doing exams, so we need to set up the remote exam. Okay, already we have added two links here. You can refer to any one of these links. Okay, so I have already opened those two links. Okay, so if you observe, right, first thing is, for a remote exam, right, you need to do the preparation from, it is recommended you have to what you call, check the system requirements at least 2 or 3 days before the exam. Okay, that's recommended, but it's okay. I mean, if you do it one day before also should be okay. Okay, so what you need to do in a pre-requirements. Okay, so first thing is you need to check your system requirement. Second is download and create the remote exam ISO. So I will show you later in this slide. So what you have to do is, you have to create a bootable USB. Okay, bootable USB using the Red Hat ISO. Okay, and then you have to boot your laptop using the USB. Okay, what happens is it will install or run the operating system on your memory, laptop memory. Okay, it will not disrupt any data on your laptop, or it will not corrupt your laptop. It will just boot your laptop and loads the operating image on the RAM, and then you perform the exam, and then once you're done with the exam, remove the USB. So you can boot your laptop normally, and there will not be any any your laptop will work as it is. There will not be any issues with your laptop. Okay, so you have to boot your exam, create the ISO, boot the uh, boot the laptop using the remote live ISO. That's the third step. Fourth step is log into your exam environment. If you observe, all this 1, 2, 3 are, if you are doing from Prometric, right, all these are done by the Prometric. You don't have to do that. Okay, they already have the Red Hat laptop and all those stuff. Even they don't have to do that. But remote exams, you have to do all these three things. Okay, then once your laptop is ready, log into the exam environment by using your Red Hat credentials, and then run the compatibility test. So in your home, right, once you are login, right, and this compatibility test, right, you need to do it 2 or 3 days before the exam. Okay, that is for a caution. Okay, so I would recommend you 2 days, not 3 days, before 2 days. Even if your compatibility test is failed, right, you can reschedule the exam. So that is important. Okay, so check your requirement. Okay, run your check your compatibility test, and if everything is okay, then you are good to go with the exam on the scheduled date. So these are all the things that you need to do before before starting your exam. Okay, and again, all these testings has to be done before 2 to 3 working days. That is important. Okay, so that you will have time to reschedule the exam. So if you do it less than 24 hours, right, then you will not have any options to reschedule the exam. So that's very, be careful, because that's very very important. Okay, now how do you create this so these are some of the requirements. You can go through them. I'm not going to talk all about this, but only thing is, you need an x86 x86 64-bit computers, which is your laptop, and the USB drives with 2.0 or higher, and USB hub. Again, hard drive is all okay. And mouse, they recommend you to use a wide mouse, because at times your USB mouse, the might be issues, right? So they recommend you to use wide mouses, but it depends. If you want to use, you can use, but it is recommended to use wide mouses. And keyboard is all okay. You can use a laptop keyboard. That is okay. And camera, right? One external camera with at least 1 meter cable. So I told you, right, you need to have two cameras. One is laptop camera, and second one is your 1 meter cable camera, so that the proctor will ask you to show the four walls and all those things. He will view your room. Okay, the proctor. Okay, and you should not use any external monitors. Okay, so the monitors are not allowed in the monitor. If at all you have to use external monitor, right, you have to close your laptop lid. That's important. Okay. Okay, connection external monitoring, that's what I've said. So if you want to use external monitor, yes, you can use it, but you have to close your laptop lid. Okay, and again, if you close your laptop lid, you have to have an external keyboard also. Okay, that's also a challenge. Yeah, and sound microphone should work. That's fine. Operating system not required, because we are booting it from the USB. Firewalls is also no issue. Minimum 4 GB of RAM is required. That's the thing. Internet connection speed is like 2 MB to 1 MB. That's fine. So if you have more than 2 MB, it's recommended speed. Okay, that's one thing. And laptop battery is okay. You need to make sure you are running on the power rather than battery. So that's the pre-requirements for this exam. Okay, so you can go through these links, because we have copied that links into the PDF, the PowerPoint also. Okay, so again, you can click on this link to download the bootable ISO. So click this link to download the USB, and again, you have to make a bootable bootable USB. So either you can use the Fedora Media Writer, or you can use the Rufus, or any tool that you have. You can use that, and create a bootable USB using this image. That's the requirement. You can use anything. So again, because it is a Red Hat documentation, they have given the Fedora media writer. So if you don't want to use it, you can use Rofus or any tool that you want. Okay. Only outcome is you need a USB bootable disk using this ISO. That's the requirement. That's it. Okay. And they have given the instructions here, like on the Windows machine and Mac machine also. Okay. Again, you can go through this, different options, and you know you can create this bootable image using this RHE boot.iso image. Okay. So then yeah, this is on the Windows, and this is on the Fedora, sorry, and this is on the on the Ubuntu machine. And what else you have? All these are different various methods. So depending upon your underlying operating system, you can choose whatever operating system you want. These are all on Windows. Yeah, these are all on the, I think it is on the what do you call, your Mac. Okay, that's also fine. So only thing is you need bootable disk. So decide what tool you want to use and what operating system you're running it. So you pick whatever tool you want, and then ultimately you need a bootable USB with that ISO image. Okay. So once that is done, yeah, see, even for Mac they have given the instructions. Okay, so you can use any tool and you can do that. Okay. And what else? Yeah, and then next comes the booting. So booting the remote exam live USB image. So restart your computer or Mac, go to the boot menu. So you can use the escape key or F1 or F12, whatever laptop you are using. You go to your boot menu, and from the boot menu, based on the you can check the keys here. So based on that, you will get the boot menu. From the boot menu, select your USB drive. So whatever version you are using, you select the boot menu, and then your laptop will boot into the ISO on that USB. Okay. And then run your remote exams, and then it will ask you to configure these settings, because uh, you need to configure, because this OS will be loaded onto the memory. So that's the reason every time you boot your laptop with the USB, right? You have to mention your Wi-Fi details, network details, sound, display, mouse, and all those things you can define here. So whenever you're connected, right, it will show all the Wi-Fi's. So select whatever Wi-Fi you want. Or in the exam, again, if you're doing the remote exams, right, I would recommend you to use the connected network, not the Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi will have disconnections. So pull a cable from your router and then directly connect to your laptop. So that's a recommended way. Okay, so then you can disable the firewall, disable the Wi-Fi, and um, connect to the network. Okay, and then you can configure your sound, displays, and all those stuff. And then you can see displays, whatever is the resolution, and then you can save that settings. Okay, so once the settings are saved, right, so these are all the settings. And then yeah, once the settings are saved, what else? Yeah, I mean, nothing, they're not doing. So once the settings are saved, right, it will ask you to log into the environment. So it will show you the exam console. You can click on the exam launch exam there. Once you click on the launch exam, there will be a chat window which will pop up, and the proctor will try to chat with you. He'll give some instruction, to do's and don'ts. He will mention all those things in the chat. You have to agree to that do's and don'ts, and then you can start your exam. So for either it is remote exam or your prometric exam, right, start the exam before 15 hours, sorry, 15 minutes, sorry, 15 minutes. And so that you can do all the validations, verifications from the proctor, and then you can start the exam on time. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so that's how you create the environment. But when you do it for the first time, it is a bit tedious, I know. But if you're interested to write more exams on Red Hat, right, it will be easy for you to, once you're done with this process, right, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, but if you don't want to go through all this hassle, right, then definitely you can go to any nearby prometric, that will be run by the Red Hat certified trainers. So you can go there and you can write the exam and you can come back. So that's the preferred way. Like if you don't want to do all these things, okay, right? So that's how you can that's how you need to prepare the environment before the exam if it is for remote exam. Okay.
So, guys, this was our expert from Team K21 Academy. And if you could not understand anything or if you want to dive deeper in the topics discussed, then we have something really special for you. We have our free class on OpenShift for beginners, and under this free class, you'll be learning about what is Red Hat OpenShift, why OpenShift skill is in demand, OpenShift architecture, its components, and what not. So let me just give you a walkthrough as how you can register for this free class. All you have to do is just log on to k21academy.com/OpenShift02 and you'll be seeing this kind of interface. You just have to click on book your free seat now. Select an event date, enter your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. After that, you'll be seeing this kind of URL. So you just have to save that URL, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, keep learning.